you see these faults, then these faults are within quaternary sequences. So how do we know that this is an active fault? We identify an active fault only if we see offsetting in quaternary segments. If you see offsetting in a Trappist country, you really don't know whether it is active or not. If it is a Cretaceous fault, or if you see a fault in Precambrian sequences, it may have formed during Precambrian time, may not be active now, but this is certainly active. It is offsetting your quaternary sequences. There is drainage reversal is seen, fault even displacing your valley floor. The valley floor is displaced. You have a clear-cut fault goes there. Fault free is very well exposed during in the quaternary material. And only I think I have overshooted my time, but then I would like to discuss this particular slide with all of you. You look at this. This is a DEM along Control Hill fault or Control Hill, and if you see that that line with flags, which is a marine terrace, was formed during the high sea, or you may maximum call it saline terrain. Maybe there is mixing of sediments. How well developed is it? So this is the best example to say that sea level right up to 3.36 I do not know when was that. Nobody was there to exist. We just appeared in quaternary only. The human, the man appeared only during quaternary. So for that reason, quaternary geological studies are very important to understand basically how the landscape has developed in the near past, how it is going to behave in near future, and what were the controls. In a city like, or in a state like Goa, it's a coastal city, in other words, so sea levels are to be studied thoroughly to understand how sea levels have been there in the past along Goa coast, and how the sea levels will there be any rise or fall of the sea level in this area or not, and how exactly it has developed your coastal areas. Not only sea level, but also the climate, also the tectonic. So these are the main geological factors which control the landscape evolution, and if it is done in a quaternary terrain, you have the final answer there. If you do it in Aravallis or in Western Ghats or somewhere in older terrain, my question would be, if you say there is a fault here and I ask you when did it develop, because the terrain is Western Ghats and you know the age of the tracks there, you will say maybe at that time. But if I say it developed only very recently, then what is the evidence I have to say that? So basically, students, please try to know that, in any area, if there are some scientific or geological issues which can really be addressed, which can really be studied, and what elsewhere in the world being done as regards the quaternary geology or as regards the landscape evolution or geomorphic development, and where do we stand today when we try to do it in our own continent. You have all Precambrians here, basalts, laterites, but you do have a lot of coastal and uterine plains here. And the questions arises in such areas, such geographical areas, in coastal areas mainly. You know that a lot of arguments are there about sea levels, about greenhouse gases, income tax, things like that. Sea level will rise, what will happen to our coastal cities, things like that. So from geologist's point of view, it's nothing new. It has been happening in the past also, to the extent a common man will not believe. If I tell them that the sea had gone down by 150 meters, no, a common man will not believe. If I say that sea level had risen till 2000 years, was above the present day level by 2 to 3 meters, again the common man will not believe, but a scientist will have to believe those things. So why I chose this? Because quaternary geology is the latest, means last 2 million years only. In last 2 million years, what has happened to the landscape? You know, you may have a older terrain, a basaltic, a Precambrian terrain, or a terrain, you know, which is much older than quaternary. But we say, for example, the Aravallis or the Himalayas. You only come to know that the Himalayas are rising, Aravallis are rising. If I tell you that Aravallis did not exist 10,000 or 15,000 years back, will you believe me? You will not believe. But this is a reality. So they have risen mainly during the Holocene time. The present, you know, height that the Aravallis have attained is only during Holocene. There are ample evidences available, and today is not the for me to provide those ample examples, but I just want to tell to the students that from an older terrain which we are looking at, it is very difficult for us that how is that terrain is going to behave in future. You have all plateaus here. Does the student know why did they form, when did they form, and how long they are going to exist? That's the question for us to understand. That is why I say that the geomorphic evolution of any area is possible only by working on a material or on a landform that has essentially formed during quaternary.
We are organizing Geosphere 2025, where geology meets to a conference of geologists, wherein students as well as senior geologists and professionals, they are participating in this conference. We have invited Professor L.S. Chamial, former professor and head department of geology of MS University Baroda, as the chief guest and keynote speaker. In this conference, we familiarize everyone with the recent developments in the field of geology, as well as there is an invited lecture by Dr. Glencia Fernandez, a senior geologist from the Department of Mines and Geology, Government of Goa. She will be making students aware about the various opportunities available in the field of geology to make a career. There are also some competitions which have been planned for the students. So overall it is a mix of learning as well as some fun, wherein especially the young students, they will get an insight into the field of geology, and it will help them to choose geology as a profession, which is a very good, having lot of job opportunities as well as highly paid jobs available all over India.